2024 in council chambers, Sparta Township Municipal Building, 65 Main Street, Sparta, New Jersey. The regular meeting is opened at 7:04 p.m. All council meetings are now live streamed and can be viewed at the following link, www.youtube.com at spartatwp/streams. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on January 5th, 2024 by delivering to the press and posting on the township website a copy of the notice. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilwoman Quinn.
Here.
Councilman Chiarello.
I'm here.
Mayor Clark.
Here. And now, may we salute the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, I have the distinct honor of presenting a proclamation. And as I present this proclamation, I'm kind of reminded of a quote that Mother Teresa had, which is, "Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service." And so tonight, we recognize two young men who have put their love of their community, the love of their hobby, chess, into action. This group is Chess for Charity, and I'll read about them in the proclamation, but I will say they have, through their efforts, through Chess for Charity, raised over $15,510. And the beneficiaries of this include Jenny's House, which we all know does a huge service to people who have been abused, particularly children. Also the Sparta Food Pantry, and there's like 12 other organizations that this money has been donated to. And it really is organizations like yours that help this town thrive. It's not just the officials up here and our wonderful staff and the employees. We rely on committed citizens like you who step up and do that. And we have a lot of wonderful nonprofits and organizations throughout, but you have really distinguished yourself. So it's really my distinct honor. I know it's the honor of my fellow council people to honor to you tonight. So with that, I will read the proclamation. Whereas Chess for Charity is a charitable venture founded by three brothers who enjoy the game of chess and have been playing since elementary school. They have won various state and national level chess championships with Sparta Schools, Chess Club, and whereas Ashat Yar, I'm going to butcher your name, I apologize, and Anish Yar, who founded Chess for Charity when they started a summer camp for kids in 2017, and during COVID formed a nonprofit 501c3 when they saw that food banks were struggling. And whereas the brothers have been offering one-on-one chess lessons, both virtual and in person. These consist of senior classes for Parks and Recreation, after-school lessons for the Hilltop County Day School, USCF-rated chess tournaments, and summer chess camps to raise funds to donate to charitable causes. And whereas Chess for Charity has donated to date $15,510 to several charities such as the Sparta Community Pantry, Project Self-Sufficiency, W Girls, Wish Upon a Child, Newton and Morristown Hospital Nurses. In addition, they have also donated to International Rescue Committee for Ukraine Refugee Relief and the Neuroscience Department of Middleburg College, Jenny's House, and the Lenape Nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Council of the Township of Sparta hereby extends their congratulations and best wishes to the Chess for Charity and their incredible and well-deserved victories, and urges all residents to join in on extending congratulations to them for their outstanding achievements. So thank you very much for what you've done and what you've contributed. And thank you very much for what you've done at such a young age to realize that it really is about what you give to your community that matters. It's not what you take. And you boys have exemplified that. And I hope that the grown-ups watching will pay attention to this and emulate that as best they can. We have plenty of wonderful adults here, but we could use more to contribute to the community in the ways that you have. So congratulations. I know you want to say a few words, so I'll pass the mic.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Hello, everyone. I'm Ayushaya, and I'm the CEO of Chess for Charity and a senior at Sparta High School. I'd like to start by thanking the town council and our mayor, Mr. Clark, for this recognition. We would have never imagined when we originally started teaching chess in our basement 7 years ago that we would end up here. In our first year, we had about 10 students, but as time went on, the Sparta community helped us grow year after year. And then COVID happened, which ended up shutting everything down, including our summer camp. But when one door opens, when one door closes, another opens. One evening, while watching the news of long lines at our Sparta food bank, we decided to help and use our chess for good. At that time, our mission was to help the food bank, known as the Sparta Community Food Pantry. Fast forward 3 years, and we have donated to 12 communities, and I'm currently working on a fundraiser for Alzheimer's, New Jersey. And as we plan to continue to make a difference and help more communities to this day, it is truly an honor to be here. And we cannot help but thank you for recognizing Chess for Charity. Thank you.
Sorry, I have it. Hello, everybody. My name's Anish Iyer, and I'm the CTO of Chess for Charity. When we first started this company, it was like 2017. So I was only 9 years old at the time, which is kind of crazy to think about. I was like, this little guy. So when I got to see this company grow along with myself over the past couple of years, and it's like been kind of magnificent. And I'd also like to give a few thanks to numerous people. So I'd like to thank first our oldest brother and advisor, Akshat, who he's the third one of us actually, but he's in college, so he can't be here, unfortunately. He's our advisor. He was the one who was like the main teacher at the time, or when he was still here, and he's been supporting us ever since, even in college, which is awesome. Now, people that are here, I'd like to thank our youngest sister, Vanya. Could give her a round of applause. She's our store manager and also our youngest sister, and her like confidence, it always like inspires me. And I can tell that by the time I graduate, the company will still be in good hands with her leading it. I'd like to thank my dad. Another round of applause. He's our chief TD for most of our tournaments, and he does a really good job at making it run like efficiently and smoothly as possible. And we can't do any of it without him. I'd like to thank my mom a lot because she continuously supports us through all of our endeavors and always pushes us to do more and better. We would not be here. She's, I think, the one who actually encouraged us to start Chess for Charity, to move on from teaching into our basements to actually donating it, our money to foundations in need. So we quite literally wouldn't be here without her. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, students, along with their parents, because we would not be here in this position without any of them. They played a vital role in helping us grow, and it's pretty awesome. Thank you all for being here and supporting us tonight. We could not have done it without you, and we hope that as we grow, we can continue supporting more people.
Great job, Mom and Dad. Y'all should be really proud. We could only hope to raise sons as committed as yours, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get one too.
Do you have a website or a Facebook page or some place where people can go and find out more about the organization?
It's ischess.org.
IS Chess?
The last name.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, I don't know how we're going to top that for the rest of the evening, but we'll try, but I don't think we will. So I welcome everyone today. I think we've seen the change in weather. It kind of reminds me of, there's a quote from Great Expectations that Charles Dickens said, "It's one of those March days when the sun shines hot and the wind blows cold, when it's summer in the light and winter in the shade." And I think that kind of described what today was like, but I love seeing the sun. I know our DPW is glad to see the snow behind us, even though they do a fantastic job of getting rid of it and moving it. All right, we are now at the point where we have to approve certain minutes of prior meetings. And so may I have a motion to approve the December 12th, 2023 regular meeting minutes as presented?
I move that we approve the regular meeting minutes from December 12th, 2023 as presented.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. The regular meeting minutes of December 12th, 2023 are approved. May I have a motion to approve the January 9th, 2024 regular meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The regular meeting minutes of January 9th, 2024 are approved. Now, at this point, I will kick it to our able town manager, Mr. Jim Zepp, and may I have the manager's report, Mr. Zepp?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Sparta residents. You may not have noticed entering, however, the lights in the front of Town Hall columns are dark green, which commemorates the 110th anniversary celebration of the Girl Scouts. In the Public Works Department, I've already started getting inquiries to when the paper shredding event is. The annual Sparta Township Free Paper Shredding Event is scheduled for Saturday, May 4th, from 9 a.m. to noon in the Town Hall lower parking lot. The event is rain or shine and is open to all Sparta residents, businesses, and nonprofits. Details can be found on our website. The Public Works Building and Ground staff completed renovations and improvements at the Public Works Building. The improvements were necessary, making the front administrative offices more secure for visitors and deliveries. In our Parks and Recreation Department, the Recreation and Senior Citizen Division is currently taking registrations for this year's Sussex County Senior Olympics, which will take place in May. If any seniors are interested in this event, as well as other opportunities as in the monthly craft program and bingo, they can call 973-729-2383 or visit the Parks and Rec office located underneath the Sparta Library. The Parks maintenance staff has begun preliminary field preparations. Most fields are closed due to the wet weather. However, recreational staff will email sports groups when the fields are open. Parks staff also continues working on new picnic tables, player benches, and performing the required small machine maintenance on tools and equipment. The Sparta Library, the next Council Connect, is scheduled for Friday, March 22nd, during the day from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This program continues to foster good conversations between the residents and town council members. In their utilities department, on or about April 1st, the first round of lead and copper testing of the township's water supply system will start. The water utility director appreciates the anticipated cooperation in helping them complete the state-required testing by following the included instructions when a bottle is left at a resident's doorstep. The Township Utilities Department recently received and reviewed proposals from 4 vendors for interior water storage tank inspections at various locations. This should be done every 5 years to best plan our tank maintenance program. The Construction Department continues to accept lead inspection requests for rental properties in the township, as well as completing the administrative processing of them. Starting March 18th, the lead testing will be handled by a certified lead evaluation contractor that the township has contracted with. This should alleviate the task of the homeowner or landlord having to find someone to perform the inspection. This new process is a result of the recent ordinance passed on February 27th. Construction Department staff will provide information on the new process as the requests come in. For the months of January and February, the Construction Department has issued 259 permits and performed 750 inspections. For our fire department, through the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, we're fortunate enough to be awarded $50,000 in a grant that the fire department had applied for, and this would be used for self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA units, and firefighter hoods. Chief McCarrick will now read his portion of the mayor's report. This concludes my report. Thank you, Mayor, Council, and Sparta residents.
Thank you, Manager Zepp. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. February 26th through March 1st, a lead instructor class was hosted at the Sparta Mohawk Avenue School. We had 6 of our officers become certified in K through 12, and this is the first time that a full lead training has been hosted in a school, and we're proud to do it here in Sparta. We had officers as far as Ohio come to this training. I'd like to thank Dr. Beck and the Mohawk Ave staff for accommodating this training, and we're going to continue to grow our program, and we look forward to this year's lead day for 5th graders, which takes place on June 6th, weather permitting. The Sparta Police Department recently purchased a drone to assist with dealing with emergency incidents. With this equipment, it will assist with attempting to locate missing or endangered individuals, such as individuals who may have been suffering from a medical episode and have been wandered off, or individuals who are simply lost in the woods, and we've had that happen plenty of times here before. Additionally, it can be utilized to locate individuals who committed a crime and have fled during the attempted apprehension. On an OEM level, it can be utilized to assess damage from natural disasters in a safe manner, and the drone was purchased utilizing grant funding. Detective Stephen Guido has recently been trained and certified as a drone pilot with the FAA. This past week, we had our Top Cop 2023 Top Cop and Top Props Award, and what that is we had a sworn police officer and a civilian employee who were honored by the police department. These honorees were named by members of the department as being the top employees of 2023. This is the first year that we actually did a top civilian employee. We've been doing the top cop for the past 3 years. So examples of criteria that could be considered for the civilian employee could be anybody that's a civilian employee, such as a dispatcher, a records clerk, administrative assistant, animal control officer, IT, and support staff. And it could be voted on with many different skills that they have and characteristics. And it can only be voted on by anybody with the exception of command staff. So command staff, myself, and my lieutenants have no say in this. It comes from sergeants and below. But they're voted on the communication skills, integrity and transparency, willing to learn and grow, community service involvement, and the ability to get work done in an efficient manner. And that's just a few of the things. So this 2023 Tops Prop for the Sparta Police Department's first Top Props Award goes to Marie Morrow, who is the administrative assistant with our police department. And, you know, what the officers and what the employees do is they anonymously vote. They put in why they think this person should be named as a top employee of the year and give a bunch of different examples. But two of the things that really stand out to me is her high level of integrity. And someone wrote, "It's hard to have a bad day when you see her smile." And she's a chief of police must-have, which I could definitely say that's true. Last but not least, she's the mom of the police department. I think we all feel that way about her. So well-deserved congratulations to Marie Morrow for the Top Props Award. For the Top Cop, any officer without rank could vote on this. So primarily it's voted by an officer by their peers. No lieutenants, no sergeants, no chief vote on this. And again, communication skills, integrity, transparency, ability to take leadership stance, willing to learn and grow, how specific incidents were handled and how they responded to them, community service involvement, and how officer conducts themselves off duty, and obviously mentorship skills are just some of them. This year's recipient is Officer Christopher Bada, and I know we had Officer Bada up here a few weeks ago when he delivered a baby, and I just want to make it very clear that these votes had came in before that incident even happened.
Wow.
Officer Bada is a young man with the department, as I said before. Some of the things that his officers, his peers described him as hardworking, knowledgeable, always willing to lend a hand, incredible communication skills, a true student of profession, always looking to grow, constantly mentoring younger officers, respectful, humble, empathetic, self-motivated, proud to work alongside him. He's a people's cop, which is such a great statement right there, because he truly is somebody for the people. The drive and work ethic are unmatched, dedicated to his career. He has the skills and attitude to become a leader, and he never shies away from helping. And I did mention to my staff, one thing that stood out there was he has the skills to become a leader. And I've said this in the past before, you don't need to have rank to be a leader. I think it's special characteristics that make up a person that it's just a natural thing that comes. And you don't need any kind of rank or supervision to be a leader. And he truly is in that position as a leader here with our department amongst the young men and women downstairs. So congratulations to Officer Bada.
So delivering the baby was just spiking the football, is what you're saying.
That was just the dance, I guess you could say. But congratulations to both, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, and please send our congratulations to Ms. Morrow and Officer Bada. I'm extremely proud of both of them. And there's a reason why, we have the top police force, as far as I'm concerned, in the state of New Jersey. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And may I have a motion to accept the manager's report?
I move that
Oh, go ahead.
we accept the manager's report as presented.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The manager's report is approved. And before I move to public comment, one thing I wanted to ask, I think with the State of the Union address, it kind of got me thinking about, what's the state of the Sparta Union? And by my measure, two of the ways that you measure sort of the health of a town is what are your outstanding debt obligations? Where are you? Where are you with paying off bonds? Do you have looming debt? Next is another metric is, well, what have you done about infrastructure? Do you have looming infrastructure projects that come down the pike that you haven't addressed or that you need to deal with? And so with that, I would just, ask Sam, who's our financial expert, how are we with, our debt obligations?
With our debt obligations, most of our bonds in the general fund, the general capital fund, that they will be paid off this year. We have probably about 4 million outstanding in notes that basically notes, you have a 10-year period to pay those off without going out to permanent financing. We're on schedule to have those all paid off within that 10-year period. So debt-wise, we are in very good shape. Right now, it's going to be a tougher budget year this year. Obviously, we've had it pretty easy here for a pretty good run because the economy was decent, but the way the prices have started to go up now, fuel and everything else, it's going to be tight. So this year we may have to increase the budget a couple of cents just to, the tax rate a couple of cents just to keep up with where the economy is going and the higher pricing that's coming out right now. And I'm sure everybody sees it at home. We're just getting it on a much larger scale here from what we buy with the town. But, my wife and I live, basically at home. We buy enough food when we go shopping once a week, basically so we can eat at home. And those prices have gone up so much now that we went from probably about an average of 125 to 150 a week last year. we're over $250 now every time we go to the grocery store just to get enough food to eat for the week. So as you can see, the prices are going up, and, you know, we try to manage this in a way here that we try to, you know, we know you all work, you all got to feed your families, you got to do your stuff, and, you know, we try to be very easy on the taxes. And honestly, I could say, as far as the taxes go, and again, we're the funnel through for the school board, we're the funnel through for the county. So all of the county tax and school board tax comes through here, and we pay it to them. So we try to make it so that, you know, we try to keep it as stable as possible. And, you know, so we're financially pretty sound.
Great, thank you. And Jim, you've had your pulse on sort of infrastructure, and, you know, I as I stay in this position and I learn more about it, and that this is where, you know, towns have gotten into trouble, is they've kind of deferred infrastructure improvements and for a long time until it becomes a crisis. And at that point, they have to say, oh my gosh, we need to deal with this project. And I know we just approved a bond for our water infrastructure to improve that, but what's sort of the state of our infrastructure?
That's correct, Mayor, and we had this conversation before, and I was assuring you that the town is doing very well, in my opinion, on infrastructure. And I started naming stuff that we've done. We've taken all the underground storage tanks out of the ground. We dodged the liability on that. We put the above-ground fuel system up at the DPW, state-of-the-art facility. It's an outstanding asset now, and it's safe. The insurance company likes it. I was really pleased with the way that project went. Then Town Hall here, as you may or may not have known, we had some roof troubles. And it took a little while, but we finally addressed the roof, and we have a fairly new metal roof that is going to last a long time. And they've got the solar panels on them, and the solar panels don't penetrate the roof. They actually tag onto the seam. So we haven't seen any roof leaks, so the town hall is doing well. Station Park, we added the extension garage on the maintenance there. That's doing well. A lot of the facilities are in really good shape. And one of the last areas that needs addressing is the water department, and hence the 2.2 bond that we've just done. And we're looking at doing all kinds of upgrades for that system. The headquarters out in Germany Flats is relatively in very good shape. It's the pump station assets and the tanks that I had mentioned in the report today that we're working on now. But overall, we got a pretty good handle on it. So I'm pleased with that.
And just to clarify that a little bit more, the way it's structured out with our utilities, now obviously we have 3 utilities in town. We have the solid waste utility, which is basically all of the users that are regular residents all participate in the garbage collection. It's $75 a quarter to have your garbage picked up 2 times a week, every week. It's a pretty darn good deal. I mean, I live in Wantage. I take my garbage over and dump it off at the landfill, and I'm paying $50 for maybe 2 or 3 bags. And that's like every 2 weeks. So you're getting a real sweet deal with the garbage. We're going out to bid again. Hopefully it'll be,
The end of the month.
we're thinking it looks pretty favorable because the hauler we've gotten is really decent, and I think they've got a sweet deal here as well as far as their travel and everything else. So hopefully they'll give us a good price, and we could, you know, be real good with that. As far as the water and sewer goes, if you have water, town water, or town sewer, you pay for that by the rate, and it doesn't get passed on to any of the taxpayers that don't have water or sewer. So if you live out and you have your own well and your own septic system, you're not paying anything on that. It's all separate utilities, and all that money that comes in from the users is used to pay off the debt and pay the budget expenses.
Thank you.
Building off of that, we should be having a budget meeting soonish, right? Isn't it around this time every year? Or
Yeah, I've been working on the budget pretty much.
not pressuring?
We're hopefully by the end of the week, I'll be there. To have everything tied out and tied in. I've got most of the lines in, but it's just doing the final tie-in.
Okay. And
I'll
then we'll
get
send-
something on the schedule.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, thank you. And Chief, we're still as far as you know, the safest town in New Jersey, right?
We're in the top 10.
All right, so you heard it here. The state of the Sparta Union is very strong with low debt, fulsome infrastructure, and safe streets. So thank you to all of our staff and our leaders who make that happen. We really appreciate it. I know that the town appreciates it, so thank you. We are now at the first open to the public section. This is limited to items not on the agenda. So if you're looking at the agenda and you see something you want to talk about, now's not the time. Now's the time to talk about something that's not on the agenda. Also, we have a 5-minute limit so that we can give everyone an opportunity to speak. So if you have anything that you'd like to tell us that's not on the agenda, please step up to the mic and hold forth. Come on, Beth. You know you want to.
Actually, do you guys know me yet, or do I have to do this?
We have to do it every time for the record.
I broke it. Don't start the 5 minutes yet.
You can hold in your hand. Just
No, I'm still on North Shore and I'm still Beth. I just have to follow up on the last meeting because I emailed you guys about short-term rentals. And I just wanted to follow up to the email about short-term rentals and affordable housing. And if that could please be considered, because I know it's a concern for the town and the residents, to make sure that we have enough affordable housing for the seniors and the young families that are moving in. The Airbnbs are kind of taking away the opportunity for people that have been here for 38 or 40 or 50 years if they need to downsize, not just in the lake, but also in Sparta altogether. And if we have people that are saying, yeah, I live here, here, and here, and I have an Airbnb, you're taking all of those houses off the market. Not just in town, but also in Lake Mohawk, where there's already a rule or a bylaw in place. I know that came up last meeting too. They're not supposed to do them for less than 3 months. So we could kind of keep that in. And if also we could, again, talk about the safety, because I know there have been issues with Airbnb people that are renting them, not the owners, but the people that are renting them and causing issues where the police are called out. We have a lot of seniors and again, a lot of kids, and we can't have an issue with safety where people that are partying and out and doing all kinds of stuff until 3 o'clock in the morning being a disruption to it. I mean, we're a residential area. If there's part of Sparta that you can stick them in, go for it, but not in the primarily residential areas. And the other thing was, and I know you guys saw this we had a guy say, well, it's great for the tax revenue, but if you have people that are invested in the community, they're going to go to the restaurants and the doctor's offices and the banks and everything else, and they're going to be spending money too. It's not just, hey, I rented my house for $5,000, so I'm going to pay taxes on that. Because if you have people that are going to Crows and going to Cafe Pro and everywhere else, you're going to have them around using the stuff. And they're going to take more care in the community than people that are thinking, oh, I'm just at the lake. It doesn't matter, or I'm out on a farm doing whatever. So if you could please take that into account. Do I have time? All right, that's all I got for now. Can I save my 2 minutes?
Can't bank time, I'm sorry.
All right.
But you said it all, so thank you.
All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else wishing to have public comment on an item that's not on the agenda?
Hi, I'm Barbara Beta, 94 West Shore Trail. And I spent some time writing notes, but they're pretty much the same as what she just said. So if you can stand listening to it over again. But I did have some comments. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for entertaining these concerns. I know it's a difficult situation. But I did research the zoning, and zoning laws, and I came up with that it is it's in place as a nuisance preventing tactic to separate incompatible uses, to prevent new development from harming existing residents, to provide stability to property values. In essence, it's protecting factories from encroaching on retail zones from encroaching on residential zones, and of course, residential zones being encroached from vacation rentals and tourism. When I retired as a widow to my dream home in the R3 single-family dwelling zone, I was buying into a way of life. I knew there were limits on the principal and conditional uses required. There were setbacks. There was a long list of restrictions in that zone. And they are there to protect this way of life and to protect our safety and our property values. Currently, my neighbors are amazing. We are all engaged in this way of life. Some are elected officials. We are volunteers. There are school teachers. There are coaches. We shop locally. We eat out at our Sparta restaurants, and we respect our neighbors in our community. And those seeking this family residential way of life cannot be guaranteed if short-term rentals are allowed. My concerns and questions are if my neighbors, which are literally her deck and her swimming pool are 15 feet away from my living room, rents every weekend to strangers, I'm concerned about safety. I'm concerned, could they be registered sex offenders? I'm concerned about the noise, and I'm concerned about the burden it puts on our police force to enforce. What is the outcome if short-term rentals become more prevalent? What if it's highly successful and everybody joins up on the bandwagon? Is vacation rentals, tourism, and economic development really going to be enhanced over the same property housing a family, even if they are a family that's long-term renters? Is providing supplemental income for short-term landlords more important than our community? If so, is that more important than the well-being of our neighborhoods?
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm Julie Killen. I also am very concerned about the short-term rentals. I am a realtor. New Jersey protects the tenant, not the agent, or not the landlord. If someone moves in and doesn't pay their rent, the utilities, that landlord has to pay it all, or his house freezes in the winter and his pipes break. No one vets these people. We have no idea who they are. Are they sex offenders? We have to come up with some kind of program that protects us and not just these short-term rentals. And VRBOs, nobody checks those. They're not supposed to use the facilities in the town. They do everything. So I'm very concerned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, one point I'd like to make, I've been a landlord most of my life, and there are a lot of landlord protections as well. But you're right that there are also significant amounts of renter protections.
No, I want to thank everyone if there's anyone else that wants to speak on this, I encourage you to do so. As it stands right now, as you can see, we've had, I think, a total now of 3 sessions on public sessions about short-term rentals. We take this very seriously. We take the input of the community very seriously. And I know I've done my own independent, both into the legal and policy implications of short-term rentals. And while I can't tell you where I've precisely landed, I will tell you so you can get a window into my thinking, and I can't speak for any of my other council people, but I will tell you that something that does concern me is that we do have a housing issue in Sparta. There are people who need to have long-term rentals. There's people who need to have houses. And we are a primarily residential community. Now, maybe back in 1936, where this was a summer community, we've evolved from that. It's a residential community where we have residential zones. And what I know, my fellow council, I think I can speak for, they don't want to change the character of these zones. I think that being primarily residential is a serious factor that does weigh against short-term rentals. And anything that would change the character of that is something that concerns me, and I know it concerns my fellow council people. And I know from, short-term rentals have gotten a lot of policy analysis from groups as, the Economic Policy Institute has looked at it, and they've made the determination that the more you expand short-term rentals, the more that you then lower the accessibility of both long-term rentals and people who in houses that would be for purchase. And also it raises rental rates. And so communities have looked at that. And so those are factors that I'm, considering when we come up with this. I do also know that we have short-term lodging issues in Sussex County. There is not a lot of hotels. There's not a lot of places to stay. I get that. And I think, people know that I'm very interested in, generating movie production in Sparta. Well, one of the things that you would need would be some place for these people to stay. And so if I was only acting in that interest, then it would be easy to do short-term rentals. But that's not the job that it requires. It requires looking long-term and what is in the best interest of the people who live here now, not necessarily the people who want to come here. And so I know that that's something that I'm weighing, but I felt it was necessary for at least the public to know where my thinking is going, the factors that I'm considered. And please know that whatever ordinance we introduce, it's been the product of a lot of diligence by not just me, but Councilwoman Quinn, Councilman Chiarello. They've all looked into this very thoroughly, and I think the people of Sparta should be very pleased with who they have representing them because they take the job seriously and they dive into it. And I've benefited from my conversations, the input they've provided. And so when we introduce this ordinance soon, please know it's not going to make everyone happy, but please know it's the product of a lot of work and trying to do what's best for the people of Sparta. So thank you.
I'll add something real quick, and I don't want to have a structured policy decision because I think all council members should be present for that. And we will have that discussion when we introduce the ordinance, that aforementioned ordinance. But especially when that comes to housing, housing is a very hard problem. We're not the only community in the country in the state or the country that faces the housing problem. But this is pretty much ubiquitous across the country and pretty much in Europe and many other places, Canada and housing, and Australia has a huge housing problem. Housing is getting more and more expensive. And if anybody had a solution to that, I think we would have seen that. There are a couple of very structural problems that's unique here in this country with housing. One is that our tax code and our wealth is structured around property ownership. So much of it is around property. That's why you get mortgage interest rate deductions on your property ownership. It's fundamental to growing wealth in the country is property ownership. That provides an unnatural incentive to make sure your property is worth as much as possible and keeps going up because that's where the structure points it to. And secondly, single-family zoning requires an awful lot of property for a smaller house across a big areas, and that naturally shrinks the available land for a property for a home on the size of your township. I can say when I lived in Europe, in Germany for a while, I lived in a town very similar in size to Sparta, Very similar type of neighborhood or type of township, about the same number of people living there. And there were, I lived in a triplex. There were huge homes, there were small homes. There was 4-unit apartment building down the street that my aunt lived in. It was a wonderful neighborhood. But it didn't look anything like the single-family sprawling front lawn zones here. That's just what we've become used to in America. And I'm not qualifying that at all. That's fine. But the byproduct of that is a lot of land is used up in the township, and it makes it even more expensive to buy a house. Anyway, the point is that there are very serious structural conditions that make it hard to solve this problem. But we all take it very seriously. We've talked amongst ourselves many times about what we can do. There are very few clear and present options. Oh yeah, of course, if we just did this, we would have affordable housing. It's not that simple. But know that we've been working on this for a long time, and we will continue to work on it, and we're going to continue to try to find some solutions that are attainable.
Thank you. We're now up to the expenditures. Councilmember Quinn, could you please read the expenditures for March 12th, 2024?
I move that we expend funds to meet the bill list in the amount of $2,149,737.21, funds permitting.
May I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The bill list for March 12th, 2024 is approved. We do not have an introduction of an ordinance, nor do we have a hearing of an ordinance, so that gets us to the second public comment period, and this is limited to items that are on the agenda, which would be the resolutions. And so looking over at the resolutions, does anyone of the public wish to have a comment related to the resolutions? Okay, seeing none, I would like to carve out 4, 5, and 6, just so we can get an explanation to the public of what those are about. May I have a motion to approve resolutions 9-1 through 9-3?
I move that we approve resolutions 9-1 through 9-3.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving resolutions 9-1 through 9-3?
Aye.
So resolutions 9-1 and 9-3 are passed. That now brings us to resolution 9-4. May I have a motion to approve resolution 9-4?
So moved.
May I have a second?
I will second it.
Okay, and before we get to the roll call vote, Mr. Zepp, could you tell us what this, it's a resolution authorizing the Township of Sparta to enter into the North Jersey Wastewater Cooperative Pricing System. So what's the wastewater cooperative pricing system? What does it do, and why do we need this ordinance?
It's a purchasing co-op, like many of the other co-ops that when we did our first meeting, we enter into, like the state contract, like the Morris County Co-op, the ESC&J Co-op. And basically, these are our groups, usually with the lead agency on this one. The Passaic Valley Sewage Commission leads this co-op up. And kind of related to the topic we just talked about, we have a $2.2 million bond for water, our water utility. Well, that co-op has chemical pumps, wastewater pumps. They also provide services for pumps, and they do chemicals, and they also have guidance for troubleshooting, all out of that co-op. So it was brought to our attention that I didn't know this co-op existed, and we're in a lot of co-ops. And the benefit of the co-op, Sam could speak better to it, but you don't have to go out to quote, you don't have to go out to bid. All that work has already been done. So it's a very efficient way of purchasing products. And the idea, though we do our due diligence, the idea is that you're going to find your best pricing in the co-ops because the vetting's already been done. All the members are listed in that co-op, and the vendors work hard to become part of that co-op. So that's a short explanation of that. So I'm asking that we approve membership into that co-op so we can take advantage of the products for our water utility.
Great, thank you for that explanation. So all those in favor of approving Resolution 9-4, say aye.
Aye.
Resolution 9-4 passed. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 9-5?
So moved?
May I have a second?
Can you second it?
Yeah, I will second the motion to approve Resolution 9-5. And before we go to a vote, I'll ask Manager Zepp to explain what this resolution is about, or Sam, whoever feels most capable.
We brought this up before. So JCP&L, we've been working a lot with JCP&L because of all the activity in the town and whatnot. But JCP&L is petitioning the Board of Public Utilities to entertain their largest infrastructure project to date. The resolution in the bid, in your packet, your agenda, explains it pretty well. But what it doesn't explain is that they want a petition for 5 years, $935 million that would go towards the upgrades in the infrastructure of all the electric in the state. So you dig deeper on some of the information that's not listed here. What does that mean to Sparta? I'm being told from JCP&L was proposing to invest over $53 million in substations, circuits serving Sparta Township customers alone to strengthen the backbone of the local electric system by modernizing the grid and making the system more resilient and modernizing substations. So when I see it benefits Sparta at $53 million, that's when I say, okay, I bring it to you guys to support this because, JCP&L has been catching a lot of flack, especially a few years ago when we had a lot of vegetation issues, and they put that big program out. It's a very similar program to this, except this one's even much bigger than that program. So they're asking all the entities who are affected to, by resolution, support the project as they present it to the BPU.
Thank you.
So I've got a couple of questions. So you're saying it references almost $1 billion, 935 million in targeted investments. You're saying out of that 935 million, 53
$53 million.
is so more than 10% is coming or
Yep.
to Sparta?
That,
Just to
that,
Sparta?
yes, just to Sparta. And that's over a
other
over a
600
5-year period.
The other 600 communities are getting the rest of the money, but 53 is just for Sparta?
That's what I got.
Okay. And does Sparta play a role in approving this, or what? I mean, this is going to the
It's a
BPU, right?
support letter. It's a support letter for JCP&L, the First Energy, in their petition of the BPU to allow them to acquire the $935 million and proceed with the infrastructure project. In the resolution, it breaks down what that increase would be on an average user of 783 kilowatt hours per month. The bill is typically $116.88. The increase would be $4.16 or 3.6% over the course of a 5-year period. That's what the increase would be to the average electric user in that example.
Thanks. And thanks for explaining it out. And I don't have any, I don't have any issue with I don't want to qualify the rate going up or the rate going down or by how much. It's really, to me, is it's not my job, right? This is the BPU's job to evaluate their their request and let the BPU handle it. And I've typically abstained from motions like this in the past, but it wasn't spelled out here that 53 out of the 950 something million, I don't have my glasses on anymore, but are just to Sparta. That sounds like a
That was
lot.
in this
Yeah.
this email to me on
Okay.
this. So
Okay.
that is, Dan, it caught my eye too. I looked at that and I'm like, wow, that's significant. And then I'm like, well, I have to bring it to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So
That Get Smart. I find that hard to believe. Anyway, thank you.
So I just want to say, we have written these letters of support before, so while it is not us that is approving it or making the final decision, it's obviously the BPU. All letters of support go when JCP&L goes before the BPU. So we have definitely done this before, but we are not the decision makers. So just to set the expectation, we could write this letter and we could be supportive and BPU could say no, or vice versa. So just to properly set the expectation. The other thing is, I will say as well, for anyone who's lived in Sparta for any amount of time, I think that we can all appreciate everything that JCP&L has done over the past several years to really improve the services that we have gotten through mainly proactive measures. They really, several years back, there was a change in leadership, and at least from my time on the council, which is 12 years, the change in leadership was absolutely instrumental in the entire company going in a different direction, pivoting away from just putting out fires and really investing the time, the effort, the resources into proactive measures. So instead of just worrying about how we're going to fix it quickly, we're worrying about replacing antiquated equipment, clearing brush, clearing debris. So I think in my dealings with them over the past time here anyway, and also being a customer for 30 years since I lived here, I will like to speak to the fact that I think that they have proven themselves to be a worthy partner, a very effective, very important partner. And I think the other thing that we can all appreciate is with the way of the world right now, there's not much you're going to be doing if the power is out. There really is not much you're going to be doing. And it's very important, that we do everything possible or support them in any way possible, in my opinion, to make sure that we are, quote, keeping the lights on. So I personally, that's my reasons for supporting this resolution. But I did want to set the expectation that just because we support it, or regardless of the vote, it doesn't mean it's going to be approved.
Thank you. And thank you, Councilman Fiorillo, Councilman Quinn. Thank you, Manager Zepp, for your comments on that. And so we will take it to, may I have all those in favor of passing Resolution 9-5, say aye.
Aye.
So Resolution 9-5 passes. May I have a resolution to approve Resolution 9-6?
So moved.
And I will second the motion for Resolution 9-6. And before we get to that, I think if you would, Manager Zepp, it's a resolution appointing the 2024 PAC to a Water and Wastewater Advisory Committee. And so what is the Water and Wastewater Advisory Committee, and what do they do, if you know?
I do.
Okay.
The Sussex County Water Quality Management Plan Policy Advisory Committee is an advisory committee to the Sussex County Board of County Commissioners under the Federal Clean Water Act. The PAC, or the Policy Advisory Committee, reviews amendments to the Sussex County Wastewater Management Plan that involve sewer service areas and wastewater facilities. Its membership consists of a representative from each municipality and up to 7 at-large members appointed by the County Board of Commissioners. The PAC meets monthly every first Thursday. This is similar to the SWAC committee that I sat on for several years for the town. What happened was, if you go to the website right now, the representative for Sparta is Ed Hack, our former engineer. So I had made the request that we had hired our assistant engineer in-house here, Ralph Carcia, to be our primary rep on this committee. And Corey Stoner, it will be the alternate. And that's what the Water Committee does. It's an advisory committee, and they review these amendments that we're becoming more and more aware of.
And they make sure at the county level that Sparta's interests are protected. That's why we have a Sparta
That's why there's
representative. Is
a
that right?
rep there.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, thank you. So with that, we will, all those in favor of Resolution 9-6, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 9-6 is approved. And I believe that does it for our resolutions. And we are now up to council liaison updates. And so I will start with Councilwoman Quinn if she's ready.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sure.
A couple updates. The Senior Advisory Committee will be meeting in a week. So they meet the third week. So they'll be meeting then. So that's when our next meeting is. Sparta Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee will be having their meeting this coming week on the 19th at 7 o'clock. Lots of really great things going on there. Super excited about some of the initiatives that we're looking on and looking forward to being able to, at our next meeting, the next council meeting, giving some great updates. Also, Salute 07871. I'm happy to report to everybody that we had for our 2024 campaign of Hometown Heroes, we had 71 new orders for banners. So Vanessa Serrano is our representative who I work with on this initiative. She started sending out all the emails. Again, for anybody watching or listening or that's going to be reading about this, the process is we take all of the applications for our Hometown Hero banners into a database. Once a year, we run a campaign. We order new banners for that year. The process is you put your form in online, and then we contact you via email. We do that so that we can get an electronic copy of a photograph of the serviceman or woman that we will then use for the banner. So for anyone who has put in a form in 2023 or early 2024, please be on the lookout for an email back from Vanessa. It'll come from the Hometown Hero mailbox. Just make sure that you respond to that in a timely fashion so we can get the orders in. So super excited about that. And our next meeting is the 18th of March at the VFW. With regard to the Health Committee, there have been numerous, I will say, updates made to the website in our Health Corner. So anyone who is interested, please go out and take a look. There's a lot of really great information out there. And with regard to the Municipal Alliance, we had an amazing meeting last week. This meeting really was the jump point of a lot of very exciting things that are going on. So I wanted to just take a minute and go through some of the things that we talked about, if it's okay.
Sure.
So we have, I had mentioned before that we had set our budget. We did a lot of the groundwork that we needed to do to be able to accommodate the things we wanted to do in 2024. So what are some of the things that happened? Well, we had Tina Owie come from the Center for Prevention and Counseling and gave us a really good overview of a lot of really important information statistically about substance abuse and whatnot in and around the county. Interestingly enough, she said, and Jen is here, so keep me honest, Jen, on this one. She said, surprisingly, the numbers around people actually that are really struggling with substance abuse and whatnot are much lower in a lot of areas than they've ever seen before. The other problem is that they're going up in others. So there is an increase in, for anyone that may take a particular medication, regardless of what it might be, there's an alarming rate of fake medications or one-offs, if you will. They look exactly the same as the medication you might be ordering, but you're ordering it online. And when you're ordering it, you don't know what you're getting. So something that looks like a certain pill may in fact not be tested, might have fentanyl, might be whatever, but it looks exactly like it. So when you get it, you open it up, you think, oh, it's my Adderall, or oh, it's my XYZ. And in fact, yeah, it's bad. So that's an area that they're seeing in, and also another thing is there's so many medications out there now. There's a lot of misunderstandings from people that are taking a lot of these medications as to what the side effects and the interactions are. So Tina did a great job. She's going to be coming back to our next meeting in May, and she's going to be giving us a full rundown of all the new programs that are going on, that are offered through the Center for Prevention and Counseling as well. Collectively, we all agreed on the speakers for the schools, so we're really excited. The Alliance members all voted on Keith Hawkins, so we're now in the stages of reaching out to Keith, and we're going to get him to come to our schools. We could not be happier. And again, the schools that are impacted or affected and involved in our Alliance, the Sparta school system, Pope John Reverend Brown, Charter School, VOTEC as well. So we're super excited about that. So we really are representative of all the schools in Sparta. Also, we talked about branding, so we are now kicking around some concepts we're very excited about. We wanted to rebrand so that we're in a better position to be able to market our program and what it means. And we've donated a lot of T-shirts in the past for different groups that we support through the Alliance. So we're very excited, and hopefully at the next meeting, I'll have something to share there as well. We also are going to be offering mental health first aid courses for stakeholders in the community, and if we have room, we'll offer it also to our residents, if anyone is interested. It's a great program, and we're very excited to be able to be partnering with Tina to be able to deliver that. So stay tuned for more information. One of the things that we have been asked to escalate at our Alliance as far as what we, the programs that we support and the messages is social media, and it affects, and the effects it's having not only on our youth, but on our communities in general. So we did agree at the last meeting that we were going to bump that up. We had identified it something that was really going to happen next year, but we're going to escalate it because there's just a growing concern, and we did also confirm with our members who, on the Alliance, who are representing all the different schools and the seniors as well, that this is really becoming a huge problem. So we're going to escalate that and put that into what we're doing. So, I mean, for right now, those are the key updates from what happened at our last meeting. I do want to, again, just thank everybody who's participating in it. It's really, I think it's something we should all be very proud of. The support that we're able to give when it comes to mental health, mental well-being, substance, making sure that we're steering clear of substances, but also supporting people that are in recovery from any kind of substance abuse and whatnot. It's really something to be really proud of, to see how far this Alliance has come, and also the impact it has not just to those in our schools, but also to our seniors and to our adult community as well. So thank you to everyone on the Alliance, and I look forward to a big new update with maybe some logo pictures at our next meeting. That's it for me.
All right, thank you, and thanks again for all your hard work with the Municipal Alliance. It's a very important group, and you do a lot of fantastic work for them.
Thank
So
you.
thank you. And I will go to Councilman Chiarello, and if you want to handle the Revolutionary 250
Sure.
update as well. Thank you.
Thanks. Actually, I have a number of updates. So starting with the Revolution NJ, our committee met again on March 4th to further refine our plan. So again, we're planning for the 4th of July or thereabouts, the Revolutionary War Independence celebrations from 2026. So we're 2 years out. A lot of the grants, however, have a deadline of April. So we're trying to accelerate our plans to see where we need to ask for grant money. And we've got a plan. We're meeting with the grant writer this Friday, yep. We have some, as I mentioned before, really cool stuff planned. One of the things that I'll mention that I'm excited about in particular is we had an historian who remarked that, did I mention about the monument?
You may have the last meeting, but I don't know if you.
I'll say it again. We mentioned that we had a story mentioned that, we have about 24 Revolutionary War veterans that are buried in the Presbyterian Church Cemetery and some others that are over in the other cemetery over at Father John's Lane. And those names are starting to hard to read. So one of the things we're trying to see if we can get money for is to build a memorial, a monument to memorialize those that served from Sparta in the Revolutionary War. I think that's. I think monuments are cool, and I'm looking forward to that. I have no Board of Ed update, no County Commissioner update. Business Development Committee meets next tomorrow. The Environmental Commission meets next on Thursday. I wanted to ask, did we fill the role of the student?
We did.
Excellent. Is that person's now official, right?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent.
That will be, I was going to say that for new business.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
no
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I will mention that, I think I mentioned before that the committee is planning an Arbor Day event. I'll mention again, it's on April 26th It'll run from 9 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. The event is organized by the Sparta Environmental Commission to replace ash trees lost in the Sparta Glen due to the invasion of the emerald ash borer. The Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions, ANJAC, awarded a grant to the Environmental Commission to plant 150 new native saplings and install educational signs within the park. Students from the Sparta Middle School, Environmental Club, the high schools, the Ecology Club have been invited to attend. Also participating are the Walk Hill River Management Group, Walk Hill River Watershed Management Group, the New Jersey Invasive Species Strike Team, New Jersey Highland Coalition, the AmeriCorps, New Jersey Watershed Ambassador Program, New Jersey Forest Fire Service. Activities include invasive species identification, planting the trees, the aforementioned trees, aquatic insect identification, forest fire education, and a hike through the wooded trails in the Sparta Glen. That's my plug for the event. Also very excited, the Culture and Arts Committee met for the first time for the year to plan out their concert series on March 5th. It was a great planning meeting. The concert series is going to go on for about 8 or 9 weeks, starting July 5th. One thing I can say, there are a lot of bands that have already asked to come back. Sparta is becoming recognized in that community as a place that values them. And again, the Sparta concert series focuses on local artists that write their own music, and so we don't offer cover band, so to say. So it's local artists doing their own music. The shows are very well received, and the people love playing here. So I hope everybody will take advantage of them when they come. But one thing I'll mention in particular is they were thinking about adding a different type of show that they used to offer a dozen or more years ago. To try to attract maybe a more younger crowd. And so one of the things they're trying to plan for is a Battle of the Bands competition featuring people from Sparta. So if you have an aspiring Sparta band, we're trying to fit that in. Something that they're excited about, having a couple of guest judges. Anyway, more on that to come, but hopefully we'll get some excitement for that. Last I'll mention is, I mentioned before that I have been involved with a counterpart of ours now on the council in Sparta in Greece. Also involved as one of the leaders of the Historical Society in Greece, in Sparta, Greece. We are sister cities. So anyway, they invited me to attend an annual historical archaeological symposium in Greece, and I'm happy to do so. So if anybody wants to join me from the council, it's September 7th and 8th. Looking forward to that very much. But fostering, and we'll meet with the council and again, fostering our ties as sister cities. I'm starting to think maybe we should talk about this a little bit further, but maybe we should consider forming a small committee, like subcommittee, maybe under the Culture and Arts Committee, like we did for the film, to study ways that we can engage with Sparta, Greece, as our sister city. And as I mentioned before, in Sparta, they're trying to create a network of towns around the world named Sparta. I think there's about 40 of them. And so to create some kind of a cultural or a network. So anyway, they're working on that in Sparta. We're trying to do our part here. There might be some cool things to do, so we'll talk about that further if it makes sense to do. And one thing I didn't mention, if I can go back to the NJ Revolution Committee, I meant to send you a note on this. I wonder if we could set up an email address to gather stories, because one of the things that we're considering in the planning for our events is gathering local stories. My great whatever, from Sparta has a Revolutionary War story, and we've already started gathering some stories from the community. Having them funnel through a common email address might be helpful. So I'll see if we can set that up, and maybe a web page just for announcements and stuff. And I've talked a lot, so I'll stop there. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So I'm on the Recreation Committee, so I will, Councilwoman Quinn handled that ably. Also on the Revolutionary 250 Committee, and thank you, Councilman Chiarello, for all your hard work with that, and I have nothing to add to what you said. I'm also a liaison with Lake Mohawk, and we'll be meeting probably in the next few weeks, so we try to meet every 4 to 6 weeks, and those have been productive meetings. And then last week, we had our very first meeting of the subcommittee of the Cultural Affairs for Sparta Film Readiness. And so we were able to get all members to attend, and the first order of business is to get our application in to the New Jersey Economic Development Association. So they're the ones that take the application and look it over and determine whether you can be properly designated as a film-ready community. As part of that, the first thing you have to do, though, is attend the workshop that's put on by the New Jersey Film Commission. And so the way the Film Commission has done this is they started with counties, kind of doing almost 3 counties at a time. Sussex is one of the last ones. And so that workshop will be in April. I will be attending, probably some other folks from the committee will attend, and because you have to attend that, and that's just the first step in the application. The next step is you have to then prepare some visuals, photos of Sparta, and sort of sell your town. We were very fortunate that we have filmmakers who were already interested in and already filming in Sparta, who have agreed to, assist with that and at least give us input into, if I were going to make a movie, here's are the places I would include. And so we're very lucky to have sort of professional subject matter experts to advise us on that. And so I think we'll be able to put together a fantastic presentation. So the hope is shortly after that workshop, we will be able to submit the application. And then I don't know what the turnaround time is as far as hearing whether we get designated or not. At our next council meeting, we will have Mayor Janice Kovach, who is the mayor of Clinton, but she's also on the New Jersey Film Commission. She was appointed by Governor Murphy in January, and she will be just speaking to council to tell us more about the program, what it involves, what are the benefits, what are some things that you need to consider. So she is very gracefully agreed to come and speak to us March 26th. So I'm very much looking forward to that. So with that, that is all my council liaison updates. And so, is there anything that you think now that you left out? All right, we'll move to unfinished and new business. And my new business was, as Councilman Chiarello alluded to, I appointed our new student liaison to the Environmental Commission. Her name is Erilyn Solis, so I'm very happy that she put her hat into the ring and agreed to be part of this very important advisory committee. And I'm also very happy to have, our students, our young people get involved in township affairs. I think you can't really start too early, as our folks from Chess for Charity can attest to, thinking about your community and how you can contribute. You're never too young. So I'm very happy that we were able to appoint this person. And with that, that is all my new and unfinished business. So I will kick it to Councilwoman Quinn, if you have any.
Thank you. One of the new pieces of business, I'm going to go ahead and move, I think, to the next, or maybe we could just talk about it here really quickly. I know we've talked about it numerous times over the years, which is this initiative down at Ungerman, and kind of looking at a rebirth or a renovation, if you will, maybe just an update or a facelift is a better way to kind of say it. So I know this is something we've talked about on the council, it's something we've talked about on the Rec Advisory Committee, and Jean, I know, is working on some information, and hopefully will be coming to us, or coming to the manager rather, and back to us, or coming up through the advisory program. I'm not sure how it's going to come, but as to pricing and whatnot. And I think this is a great testament to really our commitment and furthering our commitment to all of our facilities, our quality of life and everything here. So I'm super excited about that. I know we're behind that, and we've been looking at that now for quite a while. So I'm very excited to get some information on that. Also, a lot of people are very concerned now with regard to food that has a lot of chemicals in it and products. There's a big shift. It was going organic. But now a lot of people really are wanting to grow their own food and do different homesteading things in an effort to really kind of go back to watching your food come a large, or at least a part of your food come out of the ground, not be touched by any kind of products and things like that. So I just am very excited that, as we had said to the Rec Advisory Committee, just want to let everybody know that is interested in this. Jean is looking at and working with Anne to really see if there is additional space that the township owns so that we can build on another, the community garden that already exists. So I just would ask anyone who's interested in that, don't worry, we're looking at it, and hopefully within hopefully in a short period of time, we'll have a path forward and we'll let everybody know. But I've had people come up to me and say, I want to put a vegetable garden or a big thing in my backyard, and, I'm not sure that, I have the right setup, or I don't know what I'm doing, I need some help. So we're looking at that. I just wanted to let people know. Excuse me, other than that, I have nothing.
Great, thank you. And just with respect to Ungerman, I think, I think that's great. I know that we were talking about, having, the rec committee do kind of a capital project to tell us, hey, what is it and what's your priority? And, you and I talked, and I look at our parks no differently than I look at our water pipes. It's infrastructure that we have to look at and to see if it needs improvement and not let it deteriorate where then, the use of it declines because it's a component of our town that benefits so many people and really adds to the quality and character of it. So, thank you to Councilwoman Quinn for that and to our able head of the Recreation Department, Jean Montemiro. So thank you. And Councilman Chiarello.
The only new business I want to introduce is I would like to make a motion to put on the agenda for the next council meeting that we fly the Earth Day flag on from the week of April 21st to 27th. Again, this is just to put on the agenda for formal approval at the next meeting. Made that motion.
So the motion, you need a second. The motion is to put on the agenda to fly the Earth flag April 21st through 27th. And again, it's to put it on the agenda. Is that right? That's just.
That is correct. So I
Okay.
made the motion. It needs a
Okay, and
second.
I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. If we can, Roxanne, put on March 26th a motion to fly the Earth flag for April 21st through 27th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else that anyone can think of before we move to our final public comment period? Okay, seeing nothing, this is our final public comment period. And so if you have anything that you want to address to the public, please do. And please state your name and record, the name and address for the records.
I don't have a record. Jenny Derrick's Tap into Sparta. I do want to thank the town for hiring Raisha to help with the minutes, but they are so far behind, and it's not just planning board, this is also all the statutory boards, except I think council is in good shape, Roxanne, thank you. But the zoning, planning, and environmental zoning and planning haven't had something really in all of 23, maybe one meeting if the minutes are there.
Jenny, just so you know, the 2018 planning board minutes you had asked for?
Yeah.
There was a slight delay. Tomorrow they're being posted.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So 2022 is posted for planning board, but a lot of them say, see attached transcript. And they're never going to get out of this hole. As hard as they work, and I know they're working hard, and I appreciate the work that they're doing just to try and keep up with what's going on currently, they're never going to get out of the hole if we have to go all the way back to 2022 and listen to minutes and get them put in, listen to the meeting audio and put it into minutes. And this is an OPMA issue. So I'm asking you to maybe consider hiring another person. Might even be just a short-term thing to let them get this taken care of. This is a huge hole for Sparta. 2022 going forward is almost non-existent for our statutory boards, and that's, like I said, an OPMA issue. I do appreciate the work that's being done by Dory and Raisha currently, but that's troublesome, and thank you for the 2018 issue being taken care of. I think that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Just one question. You said that some of the minutes reference a transcript. Is
Yes.
the transcript attached?
Some of them, but not all of them.
Okay.
And a transcript, obviously, we were talking about the meetings for the Diamond Ship hearings, and those transcripts are pages and pages. Transcripts are not minutes, as you well know. So, where in some cases, maybe for the Diamond Ship meetings, maybe it has to be transcripts, but that doesn't, there are other times when it says transcripts attached and it's a shell of a minute. So the minutes are a shell, basically the agenda, and then it says see attached transcript. Sometimes the transcript is there, sometimes it's not.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else, public comment on any issue you'd like to raise with the council? All right, seeing none. We are now at the closing, the adjournment. So may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
May I have a second?
I will second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The meeting is adjourned.